All right, so I want to get rid of this temporary pond that we have, and we want to clean up some of this stuff. So the first thing we need to do is actually explode this surface tie. So we're going to go back to edit, and we're going to explode. We'll go ahead and explode that surface tie. All right, so we can keep the lines the way they are. Now if I delete this temporary surface, all right, so let's turn on that pond bottom. I can go ahead and now delete this. I can delete this. I can delete this. Because we don't need it anymore. Okay, and it doesn't do anything to our pond or our daylight line. All right, so we've got our pond bottom there. We could delete these projection lines. We might as well leave them in. It's not going to hurt anything. I am going to delete this line though, and I'm going to create the offset again. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to offset the line because we want the top of the pond, right? So I'm going to come back and say pond bench. We're going to put that on our breakline layer. The offset is going to be 10, or the line to offset is going to be the top of the pond. The offset is going to be 10. The side is to the outside, so the left in this case, and our offset is going to be that positive 1%, and click apply. So now we've got the top outer part of our pond. Okay. So if I come over to my Project Explorer again, right click and rebuild the surface, it will now include that top edge there. All right, so now we're getting a little bit more detail into the pond. Now what we want to do is daylight this out to our original ground. Now we don't need it all the way around. We only need it in certain spots. All right, so over here, you know, we've got that low flow channel there. Here we're actually draining down our 3 to 1. All right, so this water is going to come down through here, and if we look at our surface right in about in here, we can start to see, you know, maybe where that transition will happen. Okay, now we can see what happens when we go down at a 2 to 1 on the outside along this pond. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this line, we're going to close that, and I'm going to break it. So I'm going to break it right about in here, and it's starting point there, so actually that's good. We'll leave that start point on there, and we'll just let that naturally tie in. So if I take this and I do the surface tie now for this area, and we're just going to call this pond tie, keep it on break lines. We're going to tie it to our original ground. We're going to go to this side. We'll do our max spacing of 10, cut slope 2, fill slope 2. All right, so we'll go 2 to 1 on these guys, and click apply. So here you can see that at 2 to 1, we're actually projecting out into this area over in here. So what we could do is move this guy back a little bit further and tie these guys together. Right, same thing up in here. We're going to leave that the way it is because we're going to tie this guy here, and we will project it back over there. So what we can do is actually explode this and then edit that. But to make our lives a little easier, we're going to change these layers. All right, so I'm going to close this, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this, and we're going to change the layer of these so that they go to that miscellaneous work layer. All right, so we're just going to come in and put them on miscellaneous work. Okay, so now when we come in and we take these guys and we explode them, okay, I'm going to hold my control key down, and I'm going to pick, I want to uncheck or unselect that polyline. I want to unselect that polyline. All right, so I'm just left with those. So that polyline goes out to there, and we're going to delete those lines. Now we don't need these surface ties anymore, so we can delete those. And then we're just going to come in and clean and edit this up. So I'm going to take this line, we're going to right click, and I'm going to break that line. Well, let's break it at this point here. We'll take this and delete that. And then we'll break this one. I will break this one here. Let's go ahead and break that there. Delete that. And then I can work my way down here. I don't need this. That actually goes to there. That's fine. Okay. So now we're just going to come in and I'm going to take this line and we'll right click and edit. And I'm just going to take this and join it to there. And we'll actually join the lines. Now that I've got them connected, join that line. We'll go back to editing the line string. And we'll just take this and we'll just tie it into there. Okay. Now while we're at it, what we can do is, well, let's go ahead and close this and we'll just rebuild our surface. Oh, we got to add this to the proper layer. So let's go back and go to our properties now and put this on our breakline layer. And now when we rebuild, it'll bring in that as well. Okay. So now we've got this all tied in, our pond. And we have one more thing to do, which is to create a boundary in this area in here and an outer boundary on the outside so that we can clip out this area in here that we're going to leave as original ground. Okay. Now, I mean, we could tie all this back together, but again, just showing you the different aspects of Business Center and how you can use these tools to create this site design.